On Saturday, January 30th, 2016, Salon 360 sat down with Jelili Atiku to talk with him about his art, the struggle for justice in Ejigbo, Nigeria, and his most recent performance, Aragamago will rid this land of terrorism. Jelili Atiku.
Yeah, you're right. That is how it is pronounced.
Well, could you tell us just a little bit about yourself and your art?
Yeah, my name is Jelili Atiku. I am a performance artist. I was trained as a sculptor both in Ahmadu Bello University and University of Lagos. But sometimes in 1991, I started what I call my personal self-decolonization process, where I consciously go back into my roots, which is Yoruba, and I studied a lot about it, and I tried to borrow heavily from its history and its artistic influence and artistic achievements. So, and that led me into performance. You are aware that the most prominent artistic practice in the Yoruba culture or in African culture is performance. So that was what led me into doing a performance and trying to create my sculptural piece to be part of my body. So, and I tried to be more concerned about the social and political issues around me, and also issues as in the concern the humanity itself and the existence, our collective existence. So that is my art. That's my practice.
Okay. Why do you believe performance art is so important in Yoruba?
Yeah, just like I said, the most prominent artistic practice in Yoruba is performance. Of course, when this practice was involved, it wasn't seen as an artistic expression. It was seen as an holistic aspect of human living, which comprises their religion, their linking to the inner self. I mean, their connection to the spiritual world and the spiritual being. And so, in an attempt to get connected to that, so we're just trying to emphasize that the practice of performance evolved out as a way for the people to connect to the whole aspect of their living, which is essentially the spiritual connection between themselves and the inner world, that is to their ancestral world, because the Yoruba believe that they are somehow connected to the ancestral body, which is their own past and the present, which connected spiritually to one body of the cosmology body of the world. So performance is the only practice which was used to connect to these points. So they create a lot of sculpture, the costumes, the music, and also poetry. And these also become an ontology of the body into this spiritual journey. So, and these are the practices at which I was brought up. Then, but of course, like you all know, that the colonialism tend to remove us from these, and so most of us in Africa were removed from this practice. So, like I said, I now begun to involve myself in self-decolonization, which I started roughly in 1991, and in 2004, and I decided to go into performance fully.
Is performance art then practiced by trained artists as well as people who are untrained?
Yeah, of course. If you're talking about a traditional Yoruba context, they have a kind of a specific family that do the performance, and you have to belong to the court to be part of it. But coming to the contemporary time, the performance practice is not as popular as it's supposed to be, because we're still under the influence of colonialism. So it is play a lot of impact on us. We were trained in the Western education, and there was no training for performance at all, because during the colonialism, the Africans were meant to believe that our practice, even our art, is inferior, and people look at it as an archaic, as a kind of a barbaric art form, and so a lot of people trying to abandon it, which people don't do it. So it is performance presently is not popular. So you can only see it within the circle of the trained artists. And like myself, I wasn't trained as a performance artist, So I could say that it was my rebellion act to be who I am as a Yoruba person that led me into performance. So I could say that I'm trained, self-trained visual art performance artist. So you don't. It is not like we have the school for it, like in the U.S. where you go to school to learn performance. It's not like that here.
I see. Um, what do you say is the focus of your art? Would you call it activism, or would you have another sort of way of defining it?
Well, of course, I am as much as possible trying to avoid vocabulary, because I just want to do, and I want to tell you the focus of what I do. So when people call it sometimes, the critic have used the word activism for it. I am not conscious of the word, but I'm just expressing myself in a certain way and focusing on a certain issue. For example, I try as much as possible to focus on the political experience of Nigeria. So my environment, play a lot of influence on what I do. So, but of course, people have said it several times that it is activism, because I try to address the issue of political policy, of political influences, political implications in our society. Like I told my friends sometimes ago that, for example, Nigeria went into civil war was not the people wanted to go to war, but it was political, the political system at that time, and the politicians and the people in the power who were struggling, because of their own ego, because of their own ambition, and led us into civil war. So, and of course, you will call it activism.
So recently you performed a piece in Lagos, right? That led to your arrest.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of that performance?
Yeah, it is titled Aragamago will rid this land of terrorism.
Okay. And what inspired that piece?
What do you say?
What inspired it? What inspired you to create that piece? And was it a
Yeah,
collaborative project?
yeah, I was, yeah, no, I was inspired actually by the experience that we should go through. I live in the community. I have experienced the terrorist action by the king. In 2004, December 30, the chief sent 5 of his chiefs to come to my house and intimidate and threaten my life. And of course, in my own personal family, which the king also belonged to, I have felt his terrorist action. And the issue of land is very, because I am a native of the land, I'm a native of Ejigbo, of the town. And so the issue of land is more important to us because we are more connected to the community because of the land. And when you use the land appropriately, we get more concerned and we feel somehow, alienated from it. And so the king has somehow been dominated, and doesn't want the native to get access to the land, you know. And so this is one of the things that we say it is kind of terrorism. For example, the community, my family earmarked a particular parcels of land for the market, and it was about 7.6 or 7.4 acres of land. The king sold it and created an alternative market and employed the member of Odua People Congress, which we call OPC, and which they serve as like kind of an agent to him, and they're terrorizing the people. So when the native of the family tried to question the king, they terrorize us. You understand? So I have felt the effects of this terrorism, this domestic terrorism, So I decided to enact a performance that will address this issue. You know? So we would try to like, yeah. And the last time I came to US, I was I read this slogan, see something, say something. You know, and suddenly the Ministry of Information and Culture in Nigeria adopted that slogan, and that was kind of a campaign that when you see something, say something. So that also inspired me to say something about domestic terrorism in Ejigbo, you know. But of course, I am more concerned because we also have our own faction of terrorism, which is Boko Haram. So last year I did enact another performance that addressed the issue of Boko Haram. And in that piece, I solicited for letters all over the world, and which people sent letters to me that was addressed to the Boko Haram. So in the performance in question, which is the Aragamago, we read this land of terrorism was designed to have a special prayer into it. And so in the special prayer, I wrote the prayer in a pamphlet, and I tried to take our issues to the gods of the land, you know. So and the saying this prayer was very, you know, kind of ritualistic, and I tried to bring the king into the gods, and I tried to enumerate some instances of some of the terrorist action which he has done, you know. So that's part of the thing I can say. It is a professional performance, you know. The public was also part of it, because the public were supposed to pick the prayer pamphlet, and they were supposed to read it. So as they read it, I was using the energy of the audience, and I was using their connections to the gods unknowingly to them. And when they read it and they say Ashe, which is the last word at the prayer, it means that they are saying may the prayer be. So and it's so magical, you know, and you could see the effect of it. And the other component of the performance are part of bringing energy, of the spiritual energy that can make whatever prayer they say to become manifested. You know, like I use 24. We have what we call a Ray Beji, and the Beji are the twins. So each, and I created 12 twins to make 24. That is the 12 as in 12 energy of twins, and which we use as part of the spiritual points that bring the spiritual body into the performance.
Can you talk a little bit about the importance of the market? Because when I read the prayer, you posted it on social media. When I read the prayer, I noticed that the market was mentioned several times. Is there a special importance attached to the market?
Yeah, of course. I also mentioned in the prayer there was an incident, an horrible incident that happened sometime in 2013 or whereabouts, where two ladies were sodomized, were victimized, were terrorized. And in that incident, they tortured the ladies, and they inserted pepper and gin into their vagina. That was a kind of a horrible experience to us in the community. We were traumatized by that event. Each time I remember it, I felt shaken within myself. And how can we descend so low that we're destroying, attack women? To me, it was most barbaric actions that I've ever seen in my life. You know, for women, 3 women we were threatened, they were tortured, and they inserted pepper and gin into their vagina. And again, you also see there was some link which we can see the video of that event in the prayer. And another one also that also happened in the market, where two brothers and sisters saw ahead, and they forced them to have sex to themselves. So those horrible things happen in that market. It's something unbearable to us. It's something I cannot longer condole. It's something that my family, my immediate family, my extended family, and also members of the community cannot condole. And a lot of people cannot say it openly because the king is being fearful, you know. And so that was the point of something that is shocking to me, So I needed to relieve myself from this point of being silenced on it, and likewise every other person in the community feels so traumatized by that event.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I can't say more about it because the case is in court, but I felt as a human being I need to talk more about it, and that was why I make a lot of reference to it.
The things that happened in the market, were they designed to be in that public space to incite fear in the community, or was it just by chance that it happened in the market?
Well, of course, the market is the people who committed that criminal action were actually hired by the king. And so they were the one they have office in the market. So when what they do there are deliberate action. It wasn't by accident because it was done in their office. So and the market is a public space. And that is why we were able to get the video of it, because somebody in the public who was there video it and said it on the social media. And that's why the public got to know about it. And they sent it in the public media a year after. When it happened, we didn't know. Nobody knew. I wasn't even aware. So when it got into the public through the media, that was when we were able to know that a lot of atrocities were being committed in the market. It's a shame.
Can you talk a little bit about the symbolism that's in the performance piece? One of the things that stood out to me was there were 3 individuals in the procession who were connected together with a pole tied to them.
Yeah. I will start firstly to talk about the colors that were used.
Okay.
I use red, white, and black, and these are the color of Eshu. Eshu in Yoruba history and Yoruba religion symbolizes the energy of manifestation, and it is this energy that makes things to be, and that is what the Olodumare, that God, uses to create a lot of things in the world. And it is a power to be. And so this color was adopted in the purpose of trying to to manifest the prayers in the performance. And I use the plastic material as the costume. And the plastic material, of course, you know that Lagos is sunny, and the performance is during the sun. The material is to stimulate sweat from the performer, and it will bring out enormous water from our body. And our body is, to me, it's an important part of connection between us and the energy of the issue. And when you worship issue, sometimes they use water as a kind of a libation to bring peace and to stimulate to make it faster for the manifestations to be. So the water coming out from our body of all the performers is to facilitate, to make the manifestation come so quick. Then I created the sculpture of 12 twins. And 12 as a number is so important, as when you look at our number of the clock, it's so important. It's a kind of a magical number. So creating 12 twins, it is to bring also a kind of accelerator to the manifestation. And these 12 twins, it also bring the magical power of the Irumoles, And so the Irumoles have to bring more manifesting. And the 3 people that were carrying, they were the one that, they were like a kind of an entity, a kind of a holiness of what the Christian would call the Trinity, But the Trinity was not in the Christian, it was not in the Christian essence. It was talking about this Trinity in the essence of the Yoruba, the Olodumare, the Irumole and the Orisha. So they are the one that bring the energy, and these three energy were carrying the power of the prayer, you know, and they're trying to create like a kind of a triangle where the power. So it's kind of a magical, and it's the other kind of mysticism which are trying to evoke into the energy that we are trying to bring from the spiritual body.
And the cowbell?
Yeah, of course, the bell is a sign of calling all the spiritual energy that whichever where they are to come and descend into the world to bring their power, and as we move along to pour in their power into the performance and make everything more, and make our prayers as the audience read, and make it come. And essentially, I must say categorically that I was also using the enormous energy of the female energy, which is more important. In fact, that is the most important part of the performance.
How is that?
The title itself. Yeah, I, I, when you look at the whole world, there is nobody in the world that has not coming out from the female energy, and the in this time, in this era of terrorism, I want to align with the world, the Ifa that it says that the female energy has enormous power to get rid of suffering. And so, to me, I want to believe that the era which we are, which is the era of terrorism, can only be cleaned up by the female energy. And that is exactly why the word Aragamago, which is symbolically is the energy of a female energy that can rid the world of all these sufferings that are coming out from the terrorism.
What is the effect of such a performance on reality? How does it affect, for example, the public who was performing with you and participating there? How did it have any effect on things in the community? Do you think it's going to have an effect, a positive effect, on policy and the way people are treated by the government and by the king?
Of course, it's going to have a lot of effects.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, which like I was arrested, it's a sudden effect that is pushing out the person that I am accusing of terrorist action to come out in open, and he has displayed that utmost action that I wanted him to display for the people to know. One, he lied to the police and used the police to terrorize us further. And on the day of which we were taken to the court, a lot about hundreds of the OPC boys that were being used to arrest us were coming out. They went to my house to destroy my house and destroy my paintings. They went to meet they went to my cousin's place, destroy his place, and they also went to the performance and destroy it. So the community already know them. So that's one of the effects. So it is one of the things that the God smoked them out of their hidden place. So because the working in reality. You see, I have been able to put it in social media. A lot of people got to know about it. If, for example, I wasn't arrested, perhaps it would come to the attention of the government. But now the government is already aware. It is already in the newspaper. It's already working. Everybody is already there. There's a petition in the social media. So it is in God. It is the effect of it. So this is kind of a prayer. So you could, of course, our science world, our civilization will make us not to think it is the effect. But to me, it is the effect of it. And that is the effect of the reality. A lot of people in the community now have already know that these are things that are happening. They already know that these are the things that the king has been doing on the ground, and they already know that they have the confidence to say it now. They already know that when they see any person coming on their way to torment them, they know they're going to voice it out. I've been receiving a lot of calls to also tell me instances of what they went through. So these are the effects. So it's the effect of the reality. And that's exactly why I say that the feminism energy is the most important. So I'm also imploring the whole world to use this energy.
I know you can't talk a lot about it now because the case is still in the courts.
Yes, yes.
I mean, what could likely come out of this? What are the possibilities for you that could possibly come out of this? I mean, they could
Well,
dismiss
of
the
course,
case.
the possibility, yeah, but the possibility for me, like I said, we have asked them to provide evidences of their claims. So I'm waiting for them to provide the evidences of their claim. And I also, I'm prepared for my defense. And whichever things that come out of it, I know justice will prevail. So that is my possibility. And I know justice will prevail. We're living in a democratic society. The Constitution is supreme. So I am relying on the rule of law.
Is the outcome possibly, if things don't go well for you, is it a fine, or is it time in jail, or what are they talking about?
Well, I can say it is the judge, it is the magistrate who will decide on the penalty, or they all depend on the offense. I wouldn't know, honestly speaking, and I don't want to think about it. I just want to go there on Monday and we'll start the trial and see what is going to happen after that. I don't want to bother myself about it. I want to think positively. I want to think that the cause, the rule, the law we have in cause, and the law can determine what is the penalty if I'm found guilty, and if I don't find guilty, what is also the penalty in the other way around.
Yes, absolutely. And we are hoping everything goes well for you. We do. And
Yes,
so all the
I hope
best.
so too.
All the
Yeah,
best next
thank you
week.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Because when I was in the prison, of course, I felt so bad. I was traumatized, but it gave me an opportunity because in from 1998 to 2004, I did a project which was directed towards the reformation of Nigerian prison system and the panel system. And when I was there, it gave me an opportunity to experience what was still going on in the prison. From 1998 to 2004, nothing hasn't changed. It's a shame to the nation that, you know, I fought for the removal of a clause which is called holding charge that make that make the prison have the higher number of awaiting trial. When I was there, the number of awaiting trial, as I saw in the statistic, was 2,232. It is a hell of a thing. It is just a shame, you know. So to me, that is the thing that even hurts me more, than despite some of our efforts to campaign for prison reform in Nigeria, it is still the same horrible, degrading space, So that's what I want to say.
But before we go, could you tell us about some projects that you're working on now, and how people can find you online?
Yeah, of course, I have a website. You can see me, contact me on my website, and my Facebook. I'm also there on Twitter.
And what's
I
your
am there on the social media. I am there.
what's your
Presently,
website address?
www.jeliliatiku.webs.com.
Okay, thanks.
I am presently working on 2 projects. The first one is in the Red Project, which actually is ongoing, that I started in 2008, and it is contextualized on the human tendency of human violence tendency, and I try to look at it from the perspective of war, violence, and our unreasoning attitude towards war. And presently, in a Broad University, in the University of, in a Broad Museum, in the University of Michigan, that is my work is presently there as part of the material effect exhibition. So you can go to the Broad Museum in the Michigan State University. Is there. And then secondly, it's on the ecosystem. I've been doing a lot of performances on that, and I'm trying to also see the human contribution to the problem of the ecological problem we are facing. And so these are the two projects I am presently, ongoing that I'm doing now.
Okay. So you said that in your work is presently at the University of Michigan in their materials effects exhibit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, an exhibition.
Okay. All right. Really good. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning and talking about your piece. This interview is a production of Salon 360. Film clips of Aragamago Will Rid This Land of Terrorism are provided by Jelili Atiku and Solo Otori Documentary Film.